did he say? It was with the glue caps. He said, like, oh, that's what happens, when an engineer has a problem. I said, I am not an engineer. And he said, an engineer isn't a job title. It's a state of mind.
Oh, God.
Again.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with our second podcast of the week. Now, we're on our second podcast because we kind of have some extra time on our hands waiting for some jobs to come in, so we figured we'd fill out the time doing this podcast. So this is our second weekly podcast of the American Craftsman Podcast. I got to write this down.
Not bad.
Now, I just wanted to do a couple of things. I wanted to do a shout out to my daughter, Kendall. It's her birthday today, so
happy
birthday,
Kendall, even though she's in Aruba right now.
Oh, living the good life.
Must be nice.
And also, I want to shout out to our sponsors out there. We don't have any yet, but we are looking for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor us, we're not ashamed to plug you.
Yeah,
as long as it's not Ryobi.
Exactly.
Oh,
We do have our scruples.
Yeah.
But so that's our short introduction today. So now we're going to do what we did yesterday. We're introducing the beer of the week.
All right.
And it was Rob's choice this week.
Yep.
And we have no idea what he picked.
Yeah, as you know from the first, if you're still here after that first episode, my drink of choice is Guinness. And everybody expected me to bring a Guinness. But instead, I reached into the cooler for an old classic, and nobody knows what it is except me. I'm going to reach back here and get it.
Yeah, if it came in a 4-pack in bottles and it's not Innocent Gun.
Put this down gently.
Yeah, I'm sure if you watched the first, you heard the rumble of beer bottles, or beer cans, rather, on the bench. So we have a solution for that.
Yeah, so I picked up some Grolsch. Of course, when you're younger, the cap is quite cool, and it's still cool now, even though I'm an old dude. And this was one of the first, super premium exotic beers I ever remember getting my hands on. It's got a beautiful bottle, beautiful, crisp beer to drink, and I thought everybody would enjoy it. So here we are, beer of the week. Shout out Grolsch.
Cool.
Let's pop it open. How'd you do that so easy?
Push it. Yeah. This is we forgot to have a cheers last time.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh. Cheers. Hope you don't have headphones on, because that was probably very loud.
It tastes like I remember.
Yeah. Grolsch was good. I think they just redesigned the bottle. No, that was Stella Artois.
Yeah.
We just saw they changed the bottle or something.
Now, we're not heavy drinkers, really. We'll probably end a week, especially during the warmer months. We'll go out and we'll sit on the deck, and we'll probably have a beer or two, and just
burn
talk
some
about
scrap wood, maybe.
Start a fire and talk about the week. But it's just a great way to share some time and converse,
Unwind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, Rob, you're going to tell us a little bit today about how you got into woodworking.
So this is just episode number 2, so we're still really introducing ourselves. I came into woodworking just like Rich from another career.
You an accountant?
No, actually, that's not my strong suit.
That's good news.
Yeah.
If there's a job out there, Rob has done it. Trust me.
Except for an accountant.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, well, I kind of came in through the artistic side. I have an educational background in drafting and technical drawing. That's what they used to call it. And architectural work, engineering. My first major in college was architecture and drawing, and it just kind of bored me sitting behind the desk for 3 and 4 hours in those labs, and that's when I realized I just couldn't do it. But I went to art school as well, and for just regular drawing and painting, and that's kind of my take on things. It's probably what I bring most to the business. The other guys are probably a little bit more accomplished woodworkers than I am. And, well, yeah. The way I fell into this was purely by accident. I was a musician for the first, chunk of my life up until my early 30s. No insurance, no anything like that. Pretty much just living off, acquaintances.
$1 and a dream.
Yeah. And as I was working as a musician, every now and again there'd be low points.
Oh, excuse me, woman. This stuff's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Worked in the
Sorry.
restaurants like most of us, washing dishes and whatnot. I worked my way up inadvertently to becoming a chef, and actually worked at all these really nice places in San Francisco. And
Didn't you actually cook for the president too?
I cooked for President Clinton while he was sitting president. Yes.
Yeah, give a little timeline of because you've been you've lived all over the country.
That's true. Born in Brooklyn, moved out to a little city outside Phoenix, Arizona in the 70s. Went to high school in China Spring, Texas, a little town outside Waco.
Private joke. Sorry.
Then
This is pre Branch Davidians Waco.
Yes. I graduated high school in 1980, so that'll tell you how long ago that was. From there, I went to Arizona State University, Tempe, Arizona. That's where my first major was architecture and then engineering. From there, my band took me out to San Francisco for the first time. The band took me back to New York. Lived there till 91. Went back to San Francisco, still playing music. And that's when I started doing some catering. Worked for Taste Caterers in San Francisco.
So speaking of the music, the intro song and the outro song is actually Rob's band is that second stint in San Francisco or first?
Second stint. That was like 91, 92. Moose.
Good song.
We were together for about 3 months. a lot of short-lived stuff going on in my life. So yeah, I cooked, and I really loved cooking for a living. But again, there was no stability in my life, and so I said, I'm gonna move back to New York. I'm gonna become a teacher, and I'll have my pension, all that stuff. And so that's what I had my eyes set on. I went back to New York. I did it. I got my degree in history from the New School in New York City, which I really enjoyed. And I started teaching. I was teaching history at Canarsie High School, actually the area of Brooklyn where I was born, Canarsie, Brooklyn. And I met my wife, also a teacher. We got married, moved to New Jersey shortly after that. And while I was waiting to get my teacher's license, because you have to have a new license for each state, I thought to myself, well, I'll backtrack a little bit. We bought a house that was built in like 1900, so it needed a lot of work. And I started fixing things up, and I had a couple of tools here and there, and I'd always dreamed of it like a lot of guys. Mm-hmm. I'd done volunteer work. I happened to meet Norm Abrams back, Norm from New Yankee Workshop when I was doing volunteer work. But woodworking was just a pie-in-the-sky dream back then. There was nothing. Everything I knew I learned from books and watching New Yankee Workshop. But while I was waiting for a job, I said, let me just make a sign and put it in my front yard.
Here we are, 20
And lo and behold.
20 years later.
Sometimes I just pinch myself. I worked 2 years in the basement of my house with, probably less tools and machinery than most people watching have. Mm-hmm. Really nothing. Found that if I just really applied myself, pushed myself, and I just came along, and it was really going back to my design roots that I think propelled my early business, because I was presenting things and I was also drawing them out, with all my drawing training, and presenting them to prospective clients. This is what I'd like to build you. And year by year, I got busier and busier, and a couple of years in, I built this shop back here, just almost 1,000 square feet. It's not huge. Moved in and little by little added machinery, added knowledge. And as you know from yesterday, it was an injury that kind of cut my time short. And it was a blessing.
Old age.
It was a blessing in disguise because I met these guys. And that's not a platitude. That's real stuff. We're really good friends. And we're like family here because, we bicker and argue, and the kidding is merciless.
Oh, yeah. Don't mess up.
God forbid you make a mistake.
One day we'll show you one of the things we have here is known as the Wall of Shame.
Yeah, I don't know if this is in frame. Probably not. That's my contribution to the Wall of Shame.
That's right.
Just one for now, thankfully.
Mounted for all to see.
Yeah.
So, I guess, to wrap that up, there's really hope for all aspiring hobbyists and things like that. The thing that Rich and I did that maybe a lot of people don't do is we made that leap. We gave up something that was secure to do something that's totally insecure. And even all these years on, it's still not a secure profession. Right. We go from job to job many times.
Oh, wait, thanks to my wife's fat pension.
Yeah.
I'm able to do this.
Cheers to that.
Our silent benefactor.
Love you, honey.
Good stuff. So, Jeff, what's our talking point today?
If you guys follow Rockler on Instagram, they post every now and again these just sort of questions, and you can respond to them. They had one a couple weeks ago that actually, we started talking about, and I talked to a couple other people about, which I thought was a good one. If you had only 2 power tools in the entire shop, this is anything that takes a battery, gets plugged in, what would they be?
Right. So a drill is a power tool.
Right.
Just want
Well, only to a table saw. So don't think of it as. When I first was posed this question, I was thinking of drills and jigsaws and things like that. But it's
machine,
really,
any
but
machine.
It's machinery too, and
combo machines don't count.
Yeah, that's right.
For this conversation.
Yeah.
Which machine?
Combo machines. So
Okay.
no
We
no
don't
joiner,
have
planer.
We don't have it.
No, we don't. No. Well, it doesn't have to be the tools that we have. If you
That's true.
if you had to set up a shop and it was all hand tools and 2 things that took electricity
of some sort.
or if you wanted a gas compressor, I guess that's fine.
I would definitely have a kegerator first. I mean, no. I would definitely have. It's a tough question. A table saw is probably the most versatile tool you're going to have. You could do a lot with a table saw. And probably the joiner to get your edges straight and also to plane a wood down to get it flat. If that's the only 2 I had, those would be my choice. I could see that being what I could use, make the best use out of.
So you're going to drill holes how?
Like the old-fashioned way. The little drill that had that handle, just turn it.
Oh, the egg beater.
And screws and everything?
I gave you my choices, and now you're attacking me. I'm going to wait to see what you choose.
Well, I guess if you had a joiner, technically you could joint one face, and then if it was 6 inches or less, you could probably get it pretty close to parallel on the
Table saw.
And then finish it with a hand plane.
or one last pass on the joiner.
Right. I mean, they're good choices. I'm just
I
asking.
can't wait.
I'm just asking. Just asking. Well, what's going on in that mind.
He's going to do the same too. Watch. Well, those are my choices. Yeah, drills. Come on, you definitely need a drill, but that's not part of the question. So those 2 things, saws, those 2 tools are my pick.
All right. You want me to go?
Yeah, I can't wait for this one.
I'd also take a table saw, but I'd get a drill, like a drill driver kind of thing, because, I mean, the planer is if I only could get rough lumber, that's an obvious choice, but I could just buy S4S lumber.
Yeah.
And so that would probably give me the best of the things that I would need to. You could cut simple joinery on the table saw. You could run grooves. You put dado blades on there. You can make tenons. You can get things pretty close to square. We got a sliding miter gauge and all that stuff. I can't see going wrong there. I mean, there's a couple of tools that are close. And then, what do we use most? Besides your tape measure, what do we have in our hands most all day long?
Yeah, on the finished product, there's not a lot of use of the drill, but
right.
in the
the
carcass work and you don't have a compressor,
right.
so there's no nailing together the box.
Yeah. I mean, if we were
true.
just building, the small pieces of furniture with all the joiner and everything, but a typical
if you're
job,
making cutting boards.
Yeah, I mean, it all has interior casework. Those pieces are very rare where we're not using some type of plywood substructure and all that other stuff.
Okay, smarty pants.
I'm surprised you didn't pick the biscuit joiner, Rich.
Yeah,
That was on my list too. It was seen that and the table saw.
the biscuit joiner or the riffler.
You could maybe rip something with a biscuit joiner. There's a lot
you
of
can.
small passes.
Yes, you can.
Power riffler.
Oh yeah, power riffler too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Don't steal my tool of the week.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been torn on the whole question. I'm between a really well set up bandsaw and a table saw. Because
I mean, we do a lot on our bandsaw, and it's,
you could rip on a bandsaw that's set up well and clean up an edge, with just a couple passes, of a hand plane. And then you can also cut curves.
Yeah.
You can't cut any curves on the table saw. Now, it depends on what kind of work you're doing because, in all honesty, we don't really deal with a whole lot of curves. So the table saw, with this question, you kind of have to change your entire thing that you're doing. We couldn't do what we're doing with two tools.
Yeah, that's how we have to sort of set the stage.
So if I wanted to build the things that I like to build, I'd probably go with the table saw because that's just more. It works more with sort of that style of work. And then I'd have to go with the drill because the drill is. I have three right here that are constantly being used.
And you know who's always going to want to borrow our drill?
Yep.
Of course, I would be in big trouble if Rich called in his voucher. No, I only have one tool.
He wouldn't have one tool. That's right. It'd be my drill.
Well, so if let's say we each got to pick two to make a shop.
I was going to ask you that
so
question. What would we
tools.
do?
Yeah.
Which two tools would we pick? So if I stick with the table saw and the joiner, what would you add to that?
Yeah, I'd probably I'd go with the bandsaw and maybe the planer. We would like.
What about the drill? You're leaving the drill out? Somebody's still got to pick the drill.
He's gonna.
I'm gonna pick the
Okay.
drill. So we got table saw, bandsaw, planer, and joiner. That's pretty much everything that you need aside from a drill. And I'm going to say compressor because being able to run pneumatic tools.
That's a good one.
The tool itself isn't a power tool.
Right, it's inert.
Right. So you can run a sander, a pneumatic sander. Think about hand planing or hand sanding every single thing because if you don't have any power tools aside from a table saw and a...
Is that kind of a trick piece, though, the compressor? Because now we're saying we can use sanders and everything.
Yeah, but it's a pneumatic sander.
All right. I think that's...
It'd be like using a jig on your table saw.
All right.
I'm going to allow it.
He's the judge and the MC.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
That's it.
It's done.
All right. So, you guys, if there's somebody out there that has something to say, write in.
Well, tell us your two.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would you pick? you people out
And
there.
why? Tell us why.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Barry over here. This is our. We have not sure how much is in frame. 38-inch double drum sander from Woodmaster.
Made in the USA.
Yep.
Yeah.
Customer service absolutely horrendous. But the machine, once you spend a couple months and a couple $100 in parts, and
We became the extra
scratch your head.
on the East
It
Coast.
works pretty
for
good.
This machine.
Yes, we've taken Barry apart to the point where we weren't sure we could put him back together again.
Yeah.
But,
And she's doing good.
yeah.
She's
Yeah.
doing good.
It's a good tool for flattening stuff out, basically.
Yeah, we build a lot of big hardwood tops. We don't ban plywood for tops of furniture, whether it's a table or even a bench seat or something like that. So it saves us a ton of time. We run it through. And we use a pretty coarse grit. Of course, we're going to find
Yeah,
sand.
well, it has two grits. We had 100 on the front and 120 on the back.
Yep. Yeah, and it's nice to be able to plane everything and then take the snipe off through there. Everything ends up, whether it's an inch or 3/4, whatever you're trying to get to. That way, all of your parts are the same thickness.
Yeah.
So it's been a headache, but it's been worth it. We got it for $1,000. I mean,
We curse Barry
Yeah, we
once
probably
a month.
put about that much into it.
Yeah. We
yeah,
put
at
a
least
new feed-
500 in parts, and then time.
Labor,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is way more.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story one time about me taking off the Velcro that was on there for forever. How it took me a whole day to get it off.
Jeff showed you how to do it on the second.
Yeah,
row,
the
though.
second one, it came off 1, 2, 3. The one I had to take off, no, it wasn't going to work that way.
It was about 6 hours worth of scraping.
Oh, yeah. And my hands. Acetone all over my hands.
We got it into the shop pretty
Yeah, it was
easily compared to how it could have went. Out of the back of the
that would have
pickup.
been a good video to have of us getting this machine into the shop.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's basically a 4-foot cube, and it weighs about 1,200 pounds. It's got a 7.5 horsepower motor that makes the one corner way heavier than the rest. So it was.
We put it on an engine hoist, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Harbor Freight is good for
Shout out to Harbor Freight.
Yeah. And then we sold it
And then we sold it.
immediately after that.
We're into the recycling.
Yeah.
Even our old tools, like when our old tools go off to die, we usually just sell them here locally on Craigslist for really pennies on the dollar, or sometimes we give away the tools just to keep them in service, give them to somebody who's learning the skills and the trade, and give them a leg up.
Yeah.
Like people gave to us.
Yeah.
Except my tools when I got here. My
Yeah.
tools happened to disappear into the waste baskets somewhere.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, okay. I took off one day.
No comment.
I came back. I don't know what happened to it.
It's like that plane that Rob took.
Yeah. He's never going to let that. No, I'm not.
Well, speaking of tools, this tool of the week or tool of the day, whatever. So I'm up, and what I picked is, it just happens to be another Veritas tool. So this is the 6-inch precision square.
That's mine.
This lives in my Calavera apron back there. I didn't want to put mine on and be uncomfortable.
It's hot.
So I keep it here, sort of in the right breast pocket, and it's just great. It's exactly 3/4 of an inch wide, so you can use it to check your 4/4 stuff when it's milled. Drawing square lines, connecting dots on random angles. It's just a great square.
Checking the corner on a piece of wood.
Yeah,
right?
checking things for square.
Scraping glue out of the corner of a box.
Yeah, I've
done that.
used it for that. Yeah, I've pried open
Paint can?
cans of finish with it.
Gingerly.
Yeah. Something I had to do is actually round these two corners over, because I constantly, I cut my arm open on it all the time. But I think actually,
We all have
yeah,
one.
you guys have
Oh,
them
yeah,
too.
we have one.
That's something that confirms the tool of the week's credibility. Typically, somebody will get a new tool, the others will admire it, maybe mock it a little. In my case, I get that most often. But then the real compliment comes when the others go out and get one of their own.
Yeah.
because there's quite a few
Yeah.
triplicates in the
Oh
shop.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this actually made in USA. So Veritas is subbing it out to somebody, not quite sure who, but doesn't look like Starrett, but maybe one of the other companies.
We're like a commercial for Veritas sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of their smaller hand items are reasonably priced and really great value. I mean, we have a lot of marking stuff from them.
Yeah.
Well, see, Jeff being the tool snob, anything he gets, it's going to be good. So we all watch when he comes in to see if he's got anything new. That's something we would like to get.
Then sometimes we get hell bent on trying to find a better version of what he has.
It's not gonna happen.
We haven't been able to do it yet. Nope. I mean, one day Rich and I were here. Jeff, where were you? What happened that day? That
He
you
was
were gone?
doing sidewalk.
I was working from home.
Oh yeah. And so Jeff's always telling us one of the things that's like a bugaboo here is this magnetic.
The bit holder.
Yeah, and when the bit comes out,
How many you got in there?
I have two now. I have
it's
other ones in
really,
there.
really annoying.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
For a while, I had these that had like a little screw top on and a washer, and they worked for quite a while.
Yeah, it's over
but
there.
then they started giving way. And Jeff, who do you have yours from?
I like the snappy 2.5-inch bit holder, whatever it's called.
And it's got a monster of a magnet. So Jeff has been, sort of like lording this over us now for
Made in Texas.
a couple of
Yeah, that's snappy. We're looking for a
months.
sponsor.
And so one day Jeff's not here, and Rich and I get on the internet, the two old dudes.
No, first you texted me and
Yes.
said, "Can you order some bit holders?" And
Yeah,
I said,
two
"I'm
of
not
these."
ordering those bit holders."
Oh, because they were made in a Asian
Oh,
marketplace.
yeah, that's right.
Regardless of where they made, they're not as good as it could be.
Yeah, so we decided we were going to dive into the German tool market.
KC Tool Co.
And well, we got a couple that I don't even know if we can pronounce one of them.
One's a
the
Vera,
name.
and the other one
What does it
is
say?
Jador,
no, this is a Vera. Vera.
both of them.
Yeah, I think this one is too.
Is it?
No, you got a Stahlwall.
Yeah,
Stahl-
that's what it was.
Stahlwahl, and this is a Vera.
Yeah, Rich speaks German. And good, but not as good.
See?
They have flaws. And
see, that's
when I
sticking-
tell
I
you they
lied.
were
It's
not inexpensive, that's an understatement. But
Yeah.
we were overjoyed. We were like, wait till he sees our German bid holders. I mean, that we could tell in the first 15 minutes of use that they weren't going to dominate the shop. It was
So our big balloon was quickly deflated.
so. Shout out to
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do is if I'm not happy with a tool, I'm gonna find a different one because there's so many options out there.
so
Especially
somebody-
something small like that's $10-15 to replace. It's not worth the headache to struggle every single day with.
Yeah, because like we were talking about, what do we have in our hands almost, every day? Some kind of drill or driver situation.
Beer.
That too, but during the work day. So should we go up to the next topic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's not a strange topic, but being in a lot of different shops through the course of my lifetime, I was always curious how people dress in a shop. What's their favorite clothing to wear? I mean, it sounds silly, but some shops are pretty rigid on what you should wear. You should wear their T-shirt with their name on it. You go out on installs, you should have their T-shirt on, their hat on, their jacket on, their underwear on, and so forth and so on.
Socks?
Socks too. But for other times, the most shops, it's just people, just regular guys that just wearing what they feel comfortable in. Some guys wear sneakers in the shop. Some guys wear steel-toed shoes. Some guys, like right now, wearing sandals in the shop.
Yeah, they don't see that. They don't see that.
But for me personally, I happen to like a cut-off shirt. I don't know why. It's just I want to show these guns off, maybe. Who knows? But every time people know me, they know I buy a T-shirt, and the first thing I do is I cut the sleeves off. I just like the freedom of movement and all that, and I just don't like that clothing hanging down this part of the arm. It's just me. And I wear hiking shoes when I
Pretty
work.
flexible.
Yeah, and that hurt.
You're gonna feel that tomorrow.
Yeah, and usually a pair of shorts or some lightweight hiking pants that are nylon.
Yeah.
They can easily they dry off and they're lightweight and all.
I mean, our shop's pretty well conditioned.
Oh
too.
yeah. And I always wear a hat. It's part of me. That's who I am.
Yeah. And your reading glasses.
And my reading glasses, my Clickets.
Yeah. But also you're talking about shop gear that's not a tool.
Yes, I have a bib that I got for my birthday from my partners here. This is a Calavera bib. They put the cowboy blue on here for me, so I know I'm a big cowboy fan. So
Unfortunately,
yeah. So it's heavy duty. It's heavy, but it's got all the spots I need. I might make some modifications to it now that I got it to add some extra things to put tools in and all that.
Yeah.
But I like to keep 4 or 5 pencils near
that's
handy.
that accountant.
Yeah, no,
talking
I
at you.
I don't like to be without a pencil. And then I have my big marking pencil.
Yeah, what do you
And-
think of that?
I like this. This is a nice. The only problem is you got to sharpen it.
Yeah.
But for writing on lumber, it comes. You can change the lead
that?
out
That's
to
the-
a white.
2 millimeter or 5 millimeter? That's
What
2
the hell do I
millimeter.
know?
Looks like 2 millimeter.
It's
Yeah.
big. And it can change out to white when we're working with walnut, and you want to mark the boards when you're cutting them to say this is specifically for a side, this is for the top, and all that. So this comes in handy. I love this thing.
What's this?
And this here, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but these are the ashes of my one of my parents. No, this is the remote control for the vacuum system, the dust system here. So if I press this, it'll make a noise and it'll probably cause some problems with the speaker. So I'm not going to do that. So we have a remote control. It's set up over there in that corner, and each one of us have one of these. And I keep it on my bib.
Because it's in another room outside the shop.
Yeah, so it's easy just to press it and get the vacuum system going, get the gates open and all that.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, this is what I wear. You always see me with a cutoff on, even in the wintertime.
Yeah. Well, we got the heat on in here
Oh,
in the
yeah.
winter.
Oh, we're spoiled.
Yeah, it's about 72, 365 in here.
That's right.
Now, when I was in that fictitious Tom shop,
It's hat and gloves. No
it was,
joke.
yes. And in the summertime, you died.
Oh yeah.
Is it was hot in there.
It's good for the wood.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
finishers loved it.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
But that's another story. But Rob, what do you like
Yeah.
to
Well,
wear?
I mean, obviously, I'm wearing my Calavera apron. You could see Mike. We're a big fan of his, not just because he does custom work and because he does it, here in the States, but you can see right off the bat, Rich and I have 2 really different products here. And Mike makes these by hand per order. This is what you should get when you get something called custom, and I think I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But yeah, the apron's indispensable. You keep your stuff in here like Rich. I keep my pencils. I have a road ring. This is another one of our
How long did it take you to find that pencil?
Yeah,
3 months.
yeah,
I
Rob-
probably went through about 6 or 7 expensive pencils. Not that these are cheap. I mean, this is an aluminum body. These are, but this is another one of our little idiosyncratic things. Is that we?
Rob Weinstein spent the whole day looking for a tape measure that was made not in China, and
Yeah, it was more than a day.
yeah, it was.
It might have been a week.
Yeah, finding a German.
Yeah, we
tape
couldn't.
measure.
We couldn't find it. We found tape measures that were made in Germany, but the tape itself was from China.
Yeah, The other issue is that everything European is going to be on the metric system.
Right.
That's true too.
Or a is that a combo?
This is a combo. That was the closest thing I could find.
I can't do it.
And it's small, so for measuring larger things, I use my Japanese tape measure.
That's not the smallest one you got, though.
No, it's not.
Too bad you don't have your mini pencil around.
Yeah, I
think
lost
that's
it.
lost.
I lost it.
It's too small.
But I did I talked to Mike today at Calavera, and he's going to make me a little addition to my apron, a little leather holster for my pocket
Yeah, for
plane.
his
For your apron
pocket
plane?
plane.
Yeah. So it's going to be a true
My
apron
pocket
plane
plane.
because I'm going to be able to carry it around with me. You know?
Nice.
And we spoke to Mike today, and he's interested in being on our podcast down the future. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the second person. I already spoke to somebody else that was interested. So, any of you guys out there that do woodworking or want to be on the podcast, drop us a note.
Yeah. Where's Mike? North Carolina or South?
He's in Charleston.
Yeah. So, I mean, this will be all done remotely. We're going to have
Yeah.
to figure out how to do that. But
Oh, road trip.
Yeah.
we'll go on the road.
Right.
All right.
That'd
Well,
be cool.
the only other thing I think of distinction that is different for me, even though I'm wearing my sandals right now, when I go to work, I prefer a nice big heavy boot. This is a Silverado.
Didn't your mother ever tell you don't put your shoe on the table?
Yeah, she did. Well, you know how
It's
that
my
went.
bench.
Yeah. These are, made in America, hand stitched, double stitched. They're made in Pennsylvania. And this is the type of shoe, this is the type of footwear I prefer when I'm in the shop. These are known as eights. If you're like a Doc Martin wear or whatever, that refers to the height and the eyelets. I like a safety toe. And these boots, these are only 2 weeks old. And you can see they're already starting to show what goes on here and the type of use I put them through. When I work, I want to be secure in my feet. And I do have, flat feet and bad knees. So aside from the mats that we have on the floor, I like to have some good, secure shoes and boots on whenever I'm doing any kind of work. That's my recommendation, everybody out there. Keep your feet happy, and you'll be happy.
Yeah. Where the rubber meets the road.
That's right. There you go. Silverado. Check them out.
Yeah, they're nice. Well, me personally, I wear sneakers. I have
The
bad knees.
antithesis of the
Yeah,
boot.
Right.
Kids today.
I mean, I will wear boots.
Yeah,
when
we did the deck.
Yeah, we built a deck in the spring?
Yes.
Summer? Spring? And I had on
Be fighting over
my
that
boots.
last
I have a
year.
pair of Abrams that are actually made in New York State. But when I'm in the shop, I found the best thing for my knees. I have little to no cartilage in my left knee from a football injury. So sneakers have been the best thing for me.
Good sneakers, though.
Yeah, I
cushions.
mean, these are just middle of the road sort of Adidas that I found, and this is my second pair of these. They offer practically zero protection, so I just try and be careful and not drop anything. I can't lift up the locks on the casters with them. Really, I'm at risk of hurting myself. But for the most part, it's pretty safe if you're careful. But when I get home at night, my legs don't hurt, and when I wear boots, they do. So I've been wearing sneakers for probably the last, I want to say 4 or 5 years. With boots mixed in there intermittently. I'm a t-shirt kind of guy, shorts all year long here because we keep it, so warm. It's a short walk over to the house, so you have to go inside. It's 50 feet.
Don't tell them how spoiled we are.
Yeah.
Safety glasses on the power tools usually.
Yep. I'm working on that. It's been tough. Actually, back to the deck, I took a piece of pressure treated in the eye, and that sort of whipped me into shape for a little bit here. So I found a pair that I like. I don't know. I don't know where they are, but
Right there.
oh yeah.
The one
Yeah,
with the
so
cobwebs
these
on.
are Maverick from, I don't know, KG. You can find these on Amazon. These are some of the best I found. They don't distort my vision like most like super curved glasses do. And I got the little lanyard so I can just
Some
keep
nice
them.
things on the
Yeah, I
side,
got some side protection. The little lanyard so I keep it around my neck, and I have no excuse to not put them on, even though I managed to constantly take them off. And
We have to look out for Jeff. He's our future.
yeah, I had LASIK corrective surgery, so I need to protect my investment. Gloves. We didn't talk about gloves.
That's true.
You're
a glove
Rich.
wearer.
Yeah, you wear
Yeah.
gloves.
Sometimes I cut the fingers off. Not
Yeah.
my fingers, but the glove fingers off, so I can feel what I'm working on and all that. So it's important for me to have that ability to touch something and see if it's hot, cold, or rough or smooth.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of gloves. I wear like the knit gloves with the rubber palms. You know, when you're milling things from rough lumber, the corners are extremely sharp because they're so square.
Yeah, a lot of cuts. I mean, if you look at my hands, I'm not a glove wearer, and I always have 3 or 4 cuts that take weeks to heal because they're the spots that you keep hitting, and they're on your knuckles. You keep breaking them, and
Oh yeah, you could look over most times and you're bleeding. Just
yeah,
at any point during the day.
Hey, Rob, there's no blood all over
I
your
know.
hand.
I'm the shop bleeder.
So we keep Band-Aids and
Neosporin and we have this pair of tweezers, like those tiny little tweezers everywhere.
Yep.
There have been some monster splinters here in the shop.
oh yeah. I was finishing a piece of white oak. You remember that?
Yeah, oh,
Early in
yeah.
the morning, and
They make you shiver, those.
yeah, oh yeah, it went through the glove about this big into the meat of my hand here, and Rob actually had to pull it out with like a pair of channel locks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I do like to wear gloves. Even again, when you get home at night, your hands feel just like a little bit better because you had something protecting you.
You got to put I put on a lot of that O'Keeffe's at night,
Yeah.
and I'll do it before I go to sleep because it's so kind of greasy feeling for me. I can't put it on during the day.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, should we move on? Is that everybody out there? Tell us. Give us some feedback.
Yeah.
We keep it on topic. You enjoying the conversation? Anything to add? We want to hear from you.
So here we go again
Oh, yeah.
with the petty gripe of the day.
Yeah.
Not the week,
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah. There's always so much to complain about.
Do a little bit of griping.
In general, I like to say that, I want to be grateful and thankful for everything that I do have, and I think I am. And these petty gripes, although they're real, they're somewhat in jest. But
Not the pretzels.
no, that's a serious topic. Today, I want to talk about the word custom. And I touched on it a little bit when we talked about Mike from Calavera Aprons and the leatherwork, because this is custom.
And even yesterday with Will's question about
Yeah,
custom cabinets.
What's custom? Like, when you go buy a car, you get to pick out the color, and you pick out, like, do I want this type of air conditioning, this type of sound system? I'll have leather seats instead of, cloth seats, wheel covers, etc. There are a host of options, but you never come home and say, I got a custom Chevy.
That's a good point.
It's a Chevy, and these are just little things you picked out. And I don't want to sound disparaging. I'm just trying to say that we are a custom shop.
Yeah.
And this word has been co-opted by all sorts of makers of things that just take stock parts and put a ribbon on here and a bow on there. And that's fine, but don't describe it using the words that actually describe our work, because I'm a little bit offended by that.
Yeah, we've run out of adjectives.
Yeah. I mean, we used to be a custom cabinet shop because that's what we do. We make one-of-a-kind stuff. There's nothing that's the same, ever. It might be similar if somebody asks us, but that's as close as it comes. So when all these, run-of-the-mill shops are selling things that are a third the price that we are, and you all know the reasons why, and then saying this is a custom kitchen, it offends my sensibilities. And to me, it's completely dishonest, and there's no truth in that statement at all. So that's my petty gripe. Let me know how you feel. If you disagree, I still want to hear from you.
Yeah, and it makes it difficult for us to describe what we do. Because
Right.
you say custom and you're just lumped in with all these other schmoes that are doing...
Not custom.
Right. Artisan, bespoke, custom.
We need new words.
They've all been co-opted. I can't think of a word that...
I mean, there's handcrafted ice cream and handcrafted this.
And a lot of it actually is.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's being, mislabeled.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true. Yeah, it's a shame, but it's
marketing.
It's the times we live in.
Yeah. Sell without really any regard for.
Yeah, I laugh
the
when
truth.
I go by these kitchen showrooms and I see custom kitchen available, and I'm thinking to myself, nothing's custom. It's,
Let me ask you this, Rich. Have you ever seen anybody selling a kitchen that didn't use the word custom? Has there anybody said,
no, not that I
regular
know.
kitchen over here?
Yeah, standard cabinets with fillers.
It's all custom.
We installed a stock, I'll call them a stock kitchen.
Yeah.
For a builder that we know, going back probably fall of 2019.
Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
lost my keys.
Yeah,
Right.
at his house. At Tom's shop, built him a kitchen and installed it in his own home. But this was for a client of his. He needed a favor, so we took a couple days and installed a stock kitchen for him. And it was, appalling.
Yeah. The more you know about your craft and your trade, everybody out there, whether you're a woodworker, whether you're a plumber, especially the tradesmen, you know the difference between good work and, people that just don't care. Everybody does. Even if you're not in the trades, you can see somebody who's just phoning it in. So we do this every day, and we're constantly challenging each other to be as good as possible. There's no let up here, and that's a great, healthy environment. So when we see that stuff going on, we're just like, we'll rip it apart. We just will.
Yeah, and there's a clearly no initiative to get better by these people that are selling these things.
Yeah.
Because people are trying to survive, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Well, yeah. Well, they're all cleaning up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're the ones trying to survive.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if it's because the standards have been lowered so far that custom is now like just run of the mill.
That's just a generic word now.
Yeah.
It's a generic word.
How about we use unique?
We need to invent a word.
Right.
Oh, that's it for the petty gripe of the week, folks.
That's
Let's
it.
get
That
on.
is-
Let's get on to something nice
Sure.
and
Yeah,
positive.
I'm sure
What
we'll
do we
talk
got?
about that more. Viewer question of the week.
Who's got that?
It's a gentleman in Denver, Nate,
Nate's a
actually
good
asked us this question yesterday, I guess during our podcast.
guy. Well, no, he sent it over today.
Oh, he sent it over today.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. It was the most versatile specialty plane. Which one is the most versatile specialty plane out there?
Where's your beer?
I'm done.
No wonder.
I want that other one.
What's the question again?
The question is, which do you think is the most versatile specialty plane to use in the shop?
Okay.
What are you going with?
We'll let him go last because he's probably got the best one.
It's just a regular apron plane. I don't. In fact, I do have it on me.
So just a block plane.
It's just a little
Yeah.
block plane. Again, it comes in handy. It just breaks. Ow.
Lee Nielsen. See, I prefer Lee Nielsen to Veritas.
The Veritas, yeah.
Personally.
I got
They
this
are
from
notch up.
a special gentleman I used to work with in up north. Gave me this, like he sold it to me.
Gave it to me for
I
money.
love it.
He gave it to
It's-
me for some money.
We traded for money. Yeah.
But he
I-
gave me a
Why?
great deal. Gave me a
Why
great
is
deal.
that the best and most
Because
versatile?
this is the one I'm comfortable with. First of all, it fits in my hand real easy. If I wanted to break this edge, I'll just
What else we'll do? We're
Yeah,
talking.
he's playing in my bench.
You want to know versatile?
Well, I could actually hit you with it right now, and or put my hand around it, and it'll give me more weight to hit you in the head.
Plain and murder weapon. All
We
in.
already
Also,
know
you
that
could
won't
probably
do much.
hold the door open with it. You just stuck it under the door because it's got this little curve here.
Paperweight.
Yeah.
Paperweight wants to hold my.
So you're saying a small block plane is probably the most
Yeah, it's
versatile?
for me. It is. It comes in handy.
Well, you know I have a special relationship with the
Yeah, I
small
know.
block
I know.
plane.
Good thing you didn't see this one.
You made out though because you have the better plane.
Yeah.
If I have to admit.
Of course he does.
No, I paid for this. He stole mine.
I
Yeah, but you
stole
still
the
made out with the
lesser.
better
Yeah.
one.
I stole the lesser of the two.
I
Because you
actually
didn't
had
see
the
that.
same one.
Yeah.
And these guys got me this for my birthday. I think it's the same one.
Yeah.
It is.
They had like a different angle.
Yeah.
This is a 102, I think, and the 103, which is discontinued, had a different bed angle or something. But this is a great plane.
Yeah. All right.
So what's yours there, Robert?
I definitely go with a shoulder plane. You know, something.
You want to explain to the people what a shoulder plane is? I think
I think Jeff's got one right there.
You know, you took my tool
Oh, I did.
because that's what I was going to say.
Oh,
should have went second.
well, yeah, I should have 1 second. What can I do? You better start thinking. I'll stall for time. This is a shoulder plane for everybody that doesn't know. Try to be easy on the bench. You can see that the blade goes from edge to edge as opposed to like on a regular block plane. You can see the blade doesn't go all the way across the bed. So what you could use this for is trimming tenons, so it'll go straight up to the shoulder. And that's really why it's called a shoulder plane. You can put it on its side and hold it and trim the shoulder that way. You could use a shooting board, which is a way to hold, a board and trim the edge of it, whether it's at an angle or straight.
Yeah, for miter work.
Yeah, and you know, in a pinch, I mean, it's not what it's designed to do. You could also use it to knock down a corner, or shave down a bump of some sort. But yeah, you're gonna laugh, but I have a smaller one that is my favorite.
Oh, go figure.
This is a beautiful plane. This is another Lee Nielsen made in the States, but
Tool snob.
the one I have is just a size smaller than that, and it's nice. It's my favorite.
Are you talking about the 3/8 inch one?
No, not that one.
The Veritas one.
Yeah, the 5/8, the 5/8.
It's so small he can't even find it now on his bench.
No, it's probably about this big, and it's very, very useful.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It's great for. I use it a lot for when we do mortise and tenons.
If it's
stuff.
sharp, I mean, that's
Yeah.
really.
Again,
biggest
yeah, it's the key is keeping your tools sharp. That's
Yeah.
the
just like
that's
the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah, it's the most important thing to do with any of your tools.
Dull
Get
tool's
it
a
set right.
dangerous
Yeah, exactly.
tool.
Exactly.
You know, and for me, the biggest thing is the time investment. I'd rather spend. This is like a $200 plane, I'd say, and the Veritas I think is probably about the same. But I would rather spend the money up front and be able to set up the blade with the stones that I have, which don't go super coarse, rather than buy something, vintage, antique that needs a couple days of setup. Sharpening, it's not fun. So after a
A lot of
while,
repetitive work. Yeah.
you want to give up, and you might not bring it to the point where it needs to be. So if you can just take it out of the box, I go up to like a 12,000 grit stone, get your micro bevel with that, and then go from there. This has been set up once since I got it. This is on the second, real sharpening. It doesn't take a lot of maintenance when you have a good tool.
Good blade, good hardness.
Well, since you took my choice,
I know you got another one up there. I mean, does that shave count? A rabbit plane? I mean, shave's pretty versatile.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the. So this
I mean,
is
you've been talking about
the small router plane from Lee Nielsen. It's good for small hinges, stuff like that. I used it to clean out, the bottom of a dado for some floating shelves we just did. So any instance where you need to set a depth. So this blade is, you need a screwdriver to loosen this, but the blade is adjustable down. It'll go down probably about a 1/2 inch. Has a little depth stop on it. So anytime you need a very specific depth in a groove or a dado, this will help you clean up.
Can you think of any other tool that can do what that does?
A chisel, but not, it's nowhere near as effective, right? Because, it's all, the depth is controlled by you versus this where, you're not going to be able to push. This blade is only going to go as deep as it's set because it's not, it will pull itself down a little bit, but it'll just sort of stop. But yeah, that's a great little, I got that to do the hinges on the confessionals because we use these
so many.
Yeah, we use these olive knuckle hinges in there. We're 4 doors with 3 hinges each, and there's no router jig for these olive knuckle hinges because they're all the castings are all a little bit irregular, so you have to do them all by hand. So that was a big help in getting them all, consistent depth.
And it's a pleasure to use, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the smallest one they make. It'll take a good cut. It's got a 1/4 inch wide blade.
Very good.
So I hope that answered your question, Nate from Denver.
Yeah, thanks, Nate. Nate actually gave some really good insight on the intro to the podcast. So.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Nate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You tell us to cut it off.
He did tell us to shorten it, which actually made it a lot better.
And I guess that's it. That's it for today.
Oh.
Oh, we got to do the review of the beer.
Yeah, thanks.
As you can see, the review. This is
Rich liked it.
This is done. So
I guess it's going to get some positive reviews.
it brought back memories
Yeah.
of
Go ahead, Rich.
Jersey
you go first.
City.
Yeah.
Because this was like a unique thing to get.
Fancy.
This cap that you can actually refill it with.
You can't play
stuff.
Scully's with that cap.
No, you can't. You can't play bottle caps.
If you've heard of Scully's, reach out to us because these guys grew up playing that.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's very refreshing. It's what is this, a 20 ounce or it's bigger than that?
No, I think it's 12.
Is it 12? I thought it was bigger.
It's a nice bottle.
I love the bottle.
Oh wait, 15.2 ounces.
Yeah, it was
450 milliliters. For you
I liked it. It was very good. Again, I'm a regular beer drinker, so this tastes like regular beer to me. Just like a little less bitter than a Heineken. But I liked it.
Good. I guess you go second since.
Yeah, I liked it. I like Grolsch. The bottle's cool. It's sort of like a novelty kind of thing, but I like these European style pilsners. This is like what most American, macro beers were based off of.
Right.
Your Budweiser, Bud Light, all that. So it's good. Definitely a good, easy drinking beer.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I didn't even really remember what it tasted like as much as the bottle. I saw the bottle, and like Rich, people that are our age, this was such a an exciting thing to have a bottle of this back then, and I enjoyed it. Drinking it as Jeff says it, he could really describe these things much more accurately, and I agree. This tastes like what I think of as an American beer, like a regular, standard beer, and maybe like a nice version of that.
Right.
Crisp. What the beers...
Yeah, this probably isn't made with rice and corn.
Right. It's probably what they all started out being.
Yeah, this is like done the Greene Street way.
That's right.
Versus,
this is the Greene Street version of Budweiser.
Yeah. Not even.
Probably.
This is like a custom. This is a custom kitchen.
Yeah.
And then there's some like place in in Czechoslovakia where they're making a pilsner you've never heard of.
Yeah. Exactly. So it was good. It was a nice trip down memory lane, and these bottles, you can't keep talking about them. I mean, you can't stop talking about them. They're just so cool.
Yeah.
Thick. Even up here where you're drinking from, it's really thick and rounded, like it was just like blown glass.
Yeah.
So shout out to Grolsch.
our new sponsor,
3
hopefully.
thumbs up.
6 enthusiastic thumbs up.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, that's it. We actually have a customer coming in
Any
today.
second now.
So we're gonna reel her in, and hopefully, no, she's already agreed to this table we're gonna build her. So she
Yes.
just wants to come and see the shop and see
Size
who
us
we
up.
are and all. So,
Yeah.
so we're looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to our next podcast.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Or next week, something.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Take care. Good night.
Be well out there.
Don't touch my fucking dial. Yeah, you gotta hide the evidence.